Hello, hello. Is it live? I'm hoping it is. I'm so far only seeing a black screen. It should be live. I also saw myself waving, so I'm assuming it's live. I hope you can hear me. I wonder if we have anyone here verifying whether the microphone works and all that stuff. It is live. Very nice, very nice. It is cold. Again, why did I come up here north? So yeah, the wind is howling and I don't know what the temperature is. I can actually check if I can see it quickly. So what are the degrees like? This is not the right place. Let's see if I can quickly check. Oh, I have to check it on the phone. I cry. Can hear you okay. Very nice. Thank you very much for the confirmation. But yeah, let's check the temperature. There it is. It's saying it's plus 5 degrees Celsius and feels like 1, like plus 1. But yeah, I can confirm feels like plus 1. So yeah, that's the weather like here. There's still plenty more snow here, as you can probably see from the background. There's also again water on the ice there. I did see a snowmobile drive there yesterday, so I don't think we were even that late when we were there some weeks ago. As you can still see some crazy dudes there on the ice. It's freezing, guys. But yeah, I guess you can probably see, I think, Sebastian coming in here with the trolley bus. Yeah, my mother actually just let me know, because I just mentioned when I went out the door, and she saw this gear of mine, and she was like, "Is that phone gonna be there blocking your view the whole time?" And yeah, I was like, "Yeah, I will look at the chat from there. Just make sure you see your fingers at all times." I'm like, "Yep." So you can see this is where we split the stuff. So you put one of these logs on it, so like this, and then you push it, and then there's I'm not sure how well you can see it, but it's like a screw. I think that's what we call it in Finnish, and that's supposed to be splitting the wood. Also, hello Frutality, no accidents please. Yeah, I try to not put my fingers in any of this machinery. And also hello Natalie C, how are you, Nat? What a setup. Yeah, this is the most impressive setup of all of mine. Although there's less rats in here than in my my actual setup. No worries, yeah, you can be lurking. I will be lurking on yours after, so no worries. But yeah, so this is what we'll be working on today. My father brought in some more of those like whole trunks, so we can also like cut more. Here's a pile of like pre-sewn ones. So this machine has both you can sew, actually, I think I can show it. I was supposed to place the camera so that you would see both of both sides of it. So here when I push it like forwards, there's a saw. You cannot see it, but it's like revealing itself when you push it, and that's like sewing these things to like a certain length. You can do like any length you want. Like I mentioned in the previous one, my brother has like longer ones because he has like a baking oven, so it's like deeper, whereas my parents only have like this like fireplaces where you hopefully get like you're aiming for something like 30 centimeters. I think my father just said that it's 33 centimeters. He has like made marks, so there's like an iron here that's like supposed to be the ending one, so you're supposed to like not go above it, and then there's like some like markers made here that it's like 33 centimeters apart, so you could like aim it around there. I hope you're well, of course. Have fun stream. This is also cool. Yeah, this is childhood for me. so this is what was like all the spring activities. We're always like making these, and this setup here is like it would be most efficient, I think, with like 3 people, because one could be like all the time doing this cutting, one would be doing the splitting, and then you can see behind me there's these like pallets where you just pile them up so that they will dry. So one would be doing that, because now I said to my parents like, yeah, we can all go there together, and they're like, Saku, you're the only one with holiday. they are working today, so and it's like midday. You can see the time somewhere on the top left, I think. So you can see that it's like midday here, so it's just me here since everyone else is supposedly working. I'm good. I've been playing some Minecraft where I now know what spruce is in real life thanks to your stream. Very nice. Have you found any birch trees? You know, we need all of the different colors of trees. There's actually like extreme amounts of trees now in Minecraft. I think when I first played it, there was like only oak, I guess. I think it was in alpha when we started with my brother. But now there's like all these different colored ones. Or maybe they are from mods. It could be that maybe the vanilla one. But I'd assume the vanilla one also has like more than they previously had. You should have brought your parents' rat. I think it's too dangerous for rat. But I guess like somewhere here you could have like placed one rat. I know they're inside, so we could have gotten one. But I guess we'll start with our rat at least. Yeah, of course, I'm all good. Yeah, I was contemplating yesterday. I was like, yeah, there's not gonna be a stream from here, but I did bring all the gear with me. But the one thing I didn't bring was my Type King shirts. So unfortunately, there will be no Type King shirts on me now. You know, as contrary to other streams where I'm trying to dress in merch. Childhood was working with heavy machinery. Unfortunately, yeah, I was mostly doing this when I was like, well, depends on what you call a children. I don't think I was like under 10, but I think from like 10 upwards I was already working on this. And we were like piling up the wood already like at a younger point, because you know there's no machinery involved in there. But the thing with this thing is that you can actually see it when you push it. You have this like steel or iron, I don't know which one is it, that's like, you know, where it's like laying on, and when you do this enough you get a bruise somewhere depending on like what height you are at. So when I push it with my like belly, it usually, well, now the angle is so that I get it on like upper thigh, so somewhere like here I will have a bruise probably tomorrow if I go ham at it. Yeah, no Type King shirt, that's the thing. So it's a scuffed stream, unfortunately. It's even more amateur than, you know, usually, unfortunately. Spruce person, I see. I think I'm a birch person. Although in Minecraft it depends a bit on like what I'm building, and mostly it's Elina that's doing all the decisions regarding the colors and stuff. So I'm mostly just, you know, doing the wood cutting until there's nothing left to cut, and then we start building the. I think last time we played with Elina it was like together we cut like an enormous area with like all the wood away from there, and then we started building, and at some point we were discussing that should we plant more trees, but then, you know, in Minecraft there's all like trees all around you, so it's really a thing you need unless you make like a farm for it, like a automated tree farm or something. But yeah, I think we can maybe do a demonstration. But yeah, like I mentioned in the title, it's somewhat loud. So actually I'm curious if you can still hear me, because before in like the earlier streams I did try cutting with a circular saw or something like that, and that made a loud noise as well, but I could still hear the stream could still hear my voice. So I'm actually curious how much can you hear of me now, because it could be that I will lose my voice by the end of the stream with you know, how loud everything is. Okay, that sounds good. And now I think the next test is to split one of these, see how well it works. But yeah, so the key here is to not like grab onto it, not hold on to it too hard, because, you know, the wood goes everywhere when it wants, especially when there's like these branch parts. Yeah, so with the branches it can go everywhere and all at once, you know, so you don't want to be putting your fingers anywhere near it. So you just have like, I don't know, jazz fingers or what you call it. So on top of here it's all safe as long as you don't like try to hold on to the tree. So just let the screw do whatever it wants, because there's really no like art or anything to it. You just push it in there hard enough, and well, not hard, but like enough times to, you know, get it split, because it doesn't really matter how many pieces it splits into, as long as, you know, you get through it, because once you get through it, it starts drying. So the only point here is to get it dry. So that's why, and you can see it gets stuck sometimes, so you don't want to fight it, just pull it away. So you don't want to start trying to like flex your strength or anything. And here you can see it's absolute mess already. It's with the branches coming out, it's usually like this, that these guys are like an absolute mess. So you just have to deal with them. And for now I don't think I will be piling them too much, so I think I'll be just, you know, throwing them away. And we have an axe here, so we can also use that. But for me it's mostly muscle until we run out of muscle, so then we resort to the axe business. And now I'm trying not to hit the phone I have on me, so that's I think the risk with this streamer setup is to, break the phone. So yeah, I just, split these and then yeet them off. And then we have a endless supply of these, so then we have another one. Yeah, noted. Do not fight heavy machinery. Yeah, there's only one winner when you try to fight with a machinery like this. So you don't want to do that. But it's always a good idea to look at when it will pierce the wood, so you know when it will start moving it. And then I usually flip it. But sometimes, especially with like when the tree is around like a wrist, is it girth, I guess, like it's not this thick, it usually snaps in like two quite easily. And usually I think some people at least say that it's better to do these like splitting stuff around like when it's still frozen, like freezing times, because with the water inside it snaps in too easily. So when it's like frozen, so there's some benefits to doing this while it's minus degrees. But yeah, I don't think there's anything like special about this. So it's just manual labor, I guess. But there's again like with any Finnish activities, there's a reason why we do this ourselves, because you can, of course, like when you order wood, you can buy it already like split like this. But it's of course more expensive when someone else has done the work, so you save a bit of money when you do this yourself. So that's the reason why my parents, and actually together with my grandparents, they bought this machinery. There's plenty of these around Finland, and there's like different manufacturers and stuff, so Finnish people have used these for, I guess, at least tens of years already. I think like after wars they started manufacturing these kind of machines. But yeah, it looks quite violent, and like I mentioned, if you try to like hold on to the wood, it is violent, so you will like lose all your strength if you try to fight it. And again, it's like dangerous, because you really don't wanna fight the strength it has. And it's also like, because it's a screw kind of thing, if you put your fingers or anything in it, it will suck them in there. So that's the thing you don't want it to do. So let's see if I can split this thing. Maybe with the axe again. I'm not sure how big or small this should be. I have sometimes gotten feedback that they need to be smaller, so I guess I'll take this back into consideration, I guess. But yeah, the wood has like the certain points where it wants to split and certain points where it's like not wanting to do it. So again, here I think it mainly needs an axe again to maybe separate these two. Oh wait, I can do it by hand, very nice. I wonder if this is still too large. Let's see. I don't know if this is any better. Hello? Let's give it the axe. And there we go. So yeah, these pallets you're seeing here, they are just like, a normal Euro pallet, and then with some boards around it. But this is actually good since with the Avant machine my father has, he can use those like, I don't know, irons and go underneath and lift them up so they can be easily moved around. So that's why they keep making these like Euro pallet things for the wood. Is there a proper name for the machine? That's actually a good question. Because I'm not sure if I know it in Finnish either. Because I would assume it's something like a multi-tool for splitting and cutting. So I would assume like firewood maker or like wood cutter, splitter, something like that. I would maybe look up with those terms. My father still uses chainsaw and axe to cut the firewood. Yeah, it depends on the amount you need. Because like if you only need a few, you of course can easily do it with just, you know, a chainsaw and axe. But we can see, well, you saw in the previous streams, you know, the amount we have of just, you know, the trunks. So with a chainsaw it would also like burn gasoline, like a lot of it. Something gruntling on the machine. I was assuming something stuck in there, but we'll see. Let's split that one more time. But yeah, I think like those people that are doing this as a job, because you know there are plenty like entrepreneurs in Finland that, you know, own wood, own forests, and then sell these firewoods. So they probably have some more like advanced stuff. Because I know there's like hydraulic stuff, like Sebastian mentioned, where it's, you know, just like you have like a hydraulic one, and it's just like a axe head or something that goes towards it, and, you know, with the hydraulic power just splits it. So instead of this like a screw thing we have, so there are like different options to how you do it. Yeah, with what Sebastian said about the hydraulic one, so it depends on the amount of power. So this screw thing, the only thing this one has as a limitation is you can see the length of this area. So if you have a wood that's bigger than this, you cannot put it here. So then you're like out of luck. So you either have to use an axe or then do it with like a chainsaw or something. So you can see this one here. It's like on the, I wouldn't say even on the larger scale, like larger size, but anything like girthier than this, you won't be able to split with it. It's also like if it's on the edge around, so if it's like almost there, when it splits it like expands, so it's like impossible to get it out. So you don't want to put it like two large ones here, because then you're struggling with getting them out. But yeah, I don't like the larger ones as much as I do like the smaller ones, because like I mentioned, typically the smaller ones split easier, and you don't only need to like split them in half instead of like into these multiple smaller ones we are getting here. Yeah, we have good crunches. Let's see if we can pull any of this. At least one we could. I think this is an okay size one. Let's see if we can pull any of the others, maybe not. Because then I tend to just, you know, keep on doing it. Because I don't think there's such thing as like too small of a firewood. So you can keep doing it. You can like splinter it into smaller and smaller pieces. So like, there's no, at least I've never been instructed that, okay, this is too small, don't make it like small enough. Because, you know, it's like better to light the fire with smaller stuff and all that. There's one on Temu. Oh dear. we need to order that one and then make it like a review out of it, and then we'll be like the stream where I lost all my fingers, Temu edition. But yeah, although I'm not maybe surprised, but I'm still a bit worried. With, you know, knowing about the Temu quality, so we'll see. I would like to have a link for that, but unfortunately I know unless there's a moderator here, I don't think you can link it. Although I don't know if we want to like advertise it either, but maybe like a screenshot of it into the Discord would be nice as a meme, I guess. So in the memes channel. I would prefer a larger axe, but I think it's for safety that we're only allowed to have a smaller one here. Although I don't know who this was for, so I know my grandma was working here I think yesterday, and my parents were here yesterday too, so maybe it's for their safety as well. I guess we're splitting it now. Oh, it's still stuck, so not yet. I guess maybe now. Oh yeah. But still I'm curious if this is too large. What do you say, chat? Is it okay? Baby axe for Finnish toddlers, yeah. Okay, just the screw thing. Screw head, yeah. Yeah, definitely a lawsuit in waiting. Because it would be interesting to see if you're like even permitted to use these. I don't know, because I know it's like different when you're doing it as a entrepreneur with like employees and stuff. So it could be that you're not even allowed to use machinery that hasn't been like tested or stuff. So it would be interesting to see these Timu machines, whether or not they would be like even suitable for these. But even then, would they be legal? Fuck. Spinning. This guy is not giving up its secrets. I guess it's not split enough to dry, so I guess we'll just put it in there. Maybe we'll get a reclamation, or what you call it in English, that it wasn't good enough. Timu log splitter is probably 1/15 scale. Yeah, I would actually also be interested in the measures. Would it even be like a proper scale? Because it could be that it's made to look like it's a real thing, but actually not even capable of doing any proper wood. But yeah, this one split nicely. So there are again differences whether there's a branch going through or not. So those are the things that you'd usually need to. So you can see this one again split like completely even. No branch spots on it. So there's a larger one here on the ground. Let's see if it's a bit too large. Maybe it is not. Let's see. Whole range of screw heads. Prices go from 65 to 11. Is that Australian dollars or? Because $11, like regardless, sounds extremely cheap for a. But then again, if it's only the head, maybe it's not that bad. But yeah, I just I go through it and then I spin it a bit so we get it like from multiple like spots, so you can see how it goes through it. And then if I can, I will just start pulling these out. If not, then I will go from the other side again, like flip it away, flip it upside down and then go again. I guess this is around the largest type we can do, but I guess that's okay. Because I guess it depends again on like who you're asking, which one is too big, and it also depends on, I guess, the use. So, because I know in Finland, I think mostly every house has a fireplace, just that the sizes differ. So whether it's like for actual heating or if it's just for like atmosphere. So depending on those, you don't probably want, like, if you have one fireplace that it's only for there to look good. You don't really want like big bulky ones in there, I guess. I guess it's okay. So Sebastian was onto something. That's actually hilarious. If you think about like let's say like an older Finnish dude being like, yeah, I have a forest full of trees I need to split, and they're like, I heard about this Timu, right? And they just come in and order a miniature one. Like a smaller one. Because I know there, like in Finland, there has been a lot of talk about the Timu stuff, because it has been somewhat popular, I guess. So, they're trying to protect us by, trying to test stuff. So if some clothing and stuff that comes out of there has had like heavy metals and stuff they're supposed to not have. So I guess it's like the criticism is warranted, but it's still like quite popular here in Finland to buy from there. So it would be interesting to see if that has actually if they shipped any of those into Finland or not. But yeah, usually after like a half a day or something like that of doing this, your fingers are quite exhausted, because you're using a lot of your finger strength when you're trying to pull these apart. Not with the machine itself, but after like pulling these apart, it's mostly fingers you're using. So it does get to your fingers a bit. Yeah, pay more or risk lead exposure is exactly It's exactly the case with the Timu stuff. So yeah, guys, which one are you choosing? Are you gonna risk it? Risk it for the biscuit? I'm actually also curious about the sawing part, because I know that's even louder than this here. So we'll see how loud that is for you guys. But it could be that we're also like already hitting the limiter, so it might not be any louder than this is, but it will be interesting to see. But we'll see how long it will take us to get through this pile that's been made for us. Because it could be that we're not even done with this here before some random Australian comes online. We'll see. I'm just checking what the time is right now. So we've been at it for half an hour already, although I think I did some yapping at the start, so I don't know how long we've actually done this for. But yeah, this for me was every year, well, not every year, depended on whether we got like a huge load some previous year, whether we needed this like every year or not. Because, you know, my parents, the place is quite big, and they have two different fireplaces. On the bottom level they have one, and then on the the middle level they have another one. So there's like places you can burn wood, but it would depend on whether or not they use them or how often. Because usually I think in Finnish houses, if you're interested in like how much wood is being used, I don't think there's many like houses that use wood for like primary heating. So all the places that use wood for heating is mostly like a secondary heating. So when you have like a earth warm system thing that, you know, it gets the warmth from the ground, or then if you're like in the cities, central heating stuff, or then using like electricity for the heating primarily. But I think most every house in Finland has like a secondary type of like heating in case the first one fails. So for example, if there's a power outage or stuff like that. So mostly everyone has a fireplace in their house. So for those wood is usually used. But I think in the newer places the fireplaces are mostly for decoration, so they're not made to like hold the heat, unlike here. So there are like differences in there as well, because you know it's mostly the size of the fireplace that like tells whether or not it can hold the heat, so whether it can be used like a secondary heating source or not. Here you can see it started bouncing. So I think that's the most riskiest thing that can happen here, is that it starts jumping wildly. But yeah, you can already see it's like twisted, because when you split it from here and the other end it's like completely different side, you know, that's when you know you got a absolute nightmare of a tree. So I guess this would need some more axe work. Yeah, I can't split it by hand. Let's see if this axing is doing anything. As you can see, it like twirls quite a lot, so those are the hardest to split. Maybe not. Yep, there we go. Now whether this is too big or not, but you can actually see that, so it has like a inner branch. You can see it like splits here. So those are the things that, you know, cause it to jump all the way all around and stuff. So those are the least nice ones here to do. And they slow you down quite a lot as well, because if you have like these non-curled ones, you can split them quite fast, but these ones, you know, it takes time because you need to go through it so many times and you can use like axe or stuff. So those things slow you down. So if you were paid by the hour, you would prefer not to have them. Luckily I'm not paid, so it's all the same for me. Yeah, actually talk about in the goal of today is that we'll try to make enough firewood to, you know, for the ones we used in the previous streams when we were in the real cottage and stuff, so we'll try and make up for those. Not that it actually matters, since all of these need to be done anyway. Yeah, it's really nice. There are so many of these powered with electricity. We used to need a tractor to provide the power on these things. Yeah, that is true. Yeah, I think in countryside it's still quite common to have them so that it's like powered by a tractor. So you know, in the tractor, the end of it has this like well, not a hydraulic one, but it's just the engine is spinning a thing. So you can hook these up with those. Like it has to be like made for it. But this one here is made for using with electricity. The difference, I guess, is that since you know my parents always do them here. If you were like a forest owner and you would like to go near where the wood were cut, like fallen down, cut, so you would do those without electricity, since you know you don't have electricity in the forest. So that's like a different use case. But in here we are always doing them here, so with electricity nearby. So for us it's better to have them with electricity. My parents heat with wood a lot, but it's an old house. Yeah, older houses, I think it's still possible to have it by like only wood, but that's definitely not something that like new buildings have it. And then of course if it's like a cottage or something, it could still be like only wood, when it's not like you're going to be there every day. So in those cases it's again different, but for like places where you live, it's rare to have it only by wood. Because I guess it's mostly like I'm not gonna say a luxury thing, but you know, it takes work to heat it by wood. You have to be there, like for example, if you go away for a week, there's nothing to keep it warm if there's nobody there filling the fireplace with wood. So it's, I don't know what's the word, what would be the good word for it, but it's like it takes work to keep it heated. So I guess most people prefer not to have that stress. And I don't know if it's any cheaper either, because it would depend on like if you own forest or not. Because if you just have to pay buy the wood, it's not that like cheap either. So if that was your like main heating, it would be probably at least around the same expense as with any of those others. So I don't think there's any money to be saved unless you have the wood sourced somewhere, like a family or relatives or stuff like that. So I think that's the only case where it would like make sense to have it. But even then it would, like I mentioned, take more work than just to have it like a electrical heating. You don't even need to worry about or stuff. Inefficient, yeah, but also like, because I know it's not like a luxury to have a heating that, you know, works without any effort, but something like that, so that it takes no work from you. But yeah, you can see these guys are splitting quite nicely. So I'm happy we have a nice splitting streak here for a change. But yeah, what are you guys up to today? It's Monday, midday, almost noon here in Finland. I guess it's like early evening in Australia. Is Stupastian working? Because I don't think it's not yet Easter, because Easter is next Monday. So we have like a public holiday, so like is it national day off or something like that. Of course depends on what you're working on. So if you're working in like a store or something, they are mostly open, I guess. So it would depend on your work as well. But I guess even then you would be like paid extra, because it's supposed to be like a day off for you. I guess in many places, if you have to work on days that are like national off days, or days off, I guess, you get paid extra if you then ask to work. But yeah, you can see with I have my hat on because it's a bit chillier here than it was on our plot, and it's again with the wind. So without this I think I would be freezing quite heavily. I was actually a bit afraid that I will, like, my hands would freeze, but I guess using them keeps them warm, because so far I've not had any issues with hands getting cold. Yeah, 6:30 p.m. Yep, yeah. So early evening. That's what I assumed. Because I was, like I mentioned earlier, I was like, yeah, we can go here, like, do this stuff as the whole family. So, well, my brother is not here, but my parents, of course, because it would be a nice, like, a team to do this as a 3 persons. But then again, there's like a huge queue here right now on these, so I guess it's, even if they were here, there wouldn't be much splitting or much cutting that they could do until the queue here with the splitting is resolved. So there's a bottleneck at the moment. Let's see what's the time. It's 20 minutes to noon. As I think I mentioned in Discord, I think I'm expecting around 2 hours of streaming today. So, like I mentioned, there's a random Australian. Shout out to Nat. That will be starting, I think, at 1 p.m. our time. So, like an hour afternoon. So in like just over an hour. But yeah, I remember as a kid I was afraid of this machine because it is quite strong, so you can feel it when you're like lightly keeping it on the wood, that the power it has. So of course it's a bit terrifying, and I think it's just, smart to be a bit afraid of it, because that means less risk involved if respect the strength it has. Just took a sourdough bread from the oven, tried baking it for the first time in Dutch oven. It seems promising, but it still got too dark. It seems we have too powerful oven. Oh, I see. So it got a bit of too much color. Been waiting for a week to hear the verdict from an interview I had last Monday. Oh, that sounds nice. Yeah, I'm hoping, keeping all my thumbs up, that it goes well. But yeah, even having like an interview is a big thing. So definitely something to be proud of. Even if this one doesn't lead to anything more. So still a win. Win is a win is a win. You can see me focusing when I'm doing the splitting. Maybe it's better that there's a brief yapping break for the safety. Very crunch, very nice. So yeah, this is I don't know actually if this is too common in Finland. I don't know if like our family is like different in that sense. It again depends on whether you were like born and raised in the city area or in like countryside. Because I know for a fact in the cities they don't have any need for wood. So in like block houses. So I guess if you were grown up in one of those, I don't think you would have a need unless, for example, your grandparents or something. But I guess the rule would then be that those kids don't have the same experience with these machines as I did growing up. Which again, I don't think this is like a childhood you'd envy. So yeah, like for that part, I don't think there was anything wrong with mine in any other part. And I guess like getting used to working is not that bad, but I don't think as a child you'd really approve of this or like be like, yippee, I can do some more manual labor. So yeah, as a kid, you remember we were always complaining needing to do this So definitely something you enjoyed, or well, I don't think anyone enjoys this. Well, I know there's some people who find some enjoyment in these kind of things, especially when you're doing them for yourself. I guess that's the difference, because you know it's a nice work with your hands and you see the result. I think many of the things nowadays people do is, for example, on the computers and stuff, you don't see like a concrete or like a physical thing from it, so you don't get the same kind of gratification as you do with like manual stuff. So there's, I guess, an aspect there. Sounded promising, but I don't know how long they usually take to come back with an answer. Has the time they have for the application, has it already ended? Like, do they still take applications, or has the process moved on from that? Because I guess they rarely like inform you until the time has ended for those. But it was, I guess nowadays you still would not know when they let you know. Because I know, for example, our company had this. Well, not my or our company, but the one I work in had this like a listing up for a long time, and when people were applying for it, they were actually even looking for anyone. So I guess that's another thing. So there might be like fake adverts and stuff. But if they've interviewed, I'd assume they're like serious in hiring. So I don't think that's the case here, or hope at least. Manual labor, that's what kids are for. Yeah, exactly. We were joking with my brother that immediately after we moved out from our parents' house, they bought this Avant machine to do most of the manual labor. But before we were here, so it wasn't needed, because that thing can do a lot of what we were doing back then with like a wheelbarrow. So you can see there might have been a consequence of us leaving, that they got the working machine for all those kind of things that you would like need to place gravel somewhere and move stuff around and stuff like that. So it's really good for those kinds of things. But yeah, I know, for example, my mother, when she does these things, she usually has like a audio book or something. So she like does these while like enjoying those books, and I guess that would be a nice thing. If I weren't streaming, I think I too would have like music playing, because I do listen to music quite a lot. And the worst place you can be is just inside your own head. So definitely need some music to escape that. Oh, so there wasn't an expiration on the job application. That's an interesting one then. But maybe they have like an open recruitment that they can recruit at any time. So let's hope they'll let you know soon. Because I guess like them letting you know anything is better than just waiting for. So I would prefer, like personally, I would even rather get the rejection than nothing at all. So, but I guess nowadays even getting a rejection is something, because there depends on the job. There's like multiple applications for each. Yeah, audiobooks are nice for mind-numbing tasks. Yeah, I'm gonna say that I think my father enjoys doing firewood. Yeah, I think they are like I mentioned, if you're doing them for yourself, I can see the, and also like I mentioned, seeing the end result is something not that many tasks nowadays has. So that's another aspect to it. One Avant equals 2 kids. Yeah, that apparently is the formula for it. So that's a good thing to keep in mind if we ever get kids, is to make two so that they can be replaced with one Avant in the future. I'm actually curious because I did the settings a bit different this time. The last two streams I had from the plot I also streamed to YouTube, mostly because the VODs, so the video on demand on Twitch side, expires in a week. So if I stream them to YouTube at the same time, they should be there like safe for all eternity or so. So I'm actually curious because I have the settings different now, whether or not we're live on YouTube side. And what's the title there? Because I think it should be something like AmateurS stream or something, because I didn't put any other like info in there. But yeah, I don't think this stream needs to be on YouTube side, because I'm mostly hoping to document the building, so the construction work. So I'm hoping to get those there so that we can, look back on them. Mostly, to see if we make a hole somewhere or stuff that, okay, there's a cable going there, I can see it from the video. So, having that documented from the start is I would assume a good thing, unless, we make tons of mistakes and they're just there to prove them. So that could also be like the flip side of it, documenting everything. But here I can already see this tree will be a nightmare, because it's like merging, splitting in two different trees. So splitting this one will be a nightmare. Actually, maybe I should start from that side and see how it goes from the other. Yeah, it's a nightmare, as I assume. Well, it's actually not that bad. It wasn't as bad as I anticipated. So it was a pleasant surprise. Or is it? It might be that well, it's not that. I was already thinking that I said it too early. Yeah, YouTube title is, yeah, I think that's where I placed it. So it is on YouTube, okay, I see. Because in YouTube site, it looks like that if you want to stream there, you need to schedule them ahead of time. But apparently, as long as you have any title in there, it goes live when you go live. So that's a good thing to know. Because then I could have the title be something like working on the plot or something, and then just change them afterwards. So I wouldn't need to stress about timing them. But I'm also actually curious. I think I need to ask Nat about it. But because I know that some people they schedule on Twitch for just some stream here, some stream there. But the only ones I found on schedule side on Twitch is having it reoccurring. So every day, a certain day every week. And I'm curious if there's a way to do it just one stream here, one stream there. Although we have been quite consistent now on the Friday midday streams or noon. So I might have to add that there as a consistent reoccurring one, and then just cancel it if there will be none on a certain Friday. So I'm curious if there's a way to add them, because I know there's different kinds of schedules there, Streamlab stuff and also not the the official Twitch ones. So it could be that I'm mixing them up. But yeah, again I will check what time is it. So it has been 10 minutes since I last checked. I think with this work time does go slightly slower than with many other works. But it again depends on if you get into a zone or not. Because I know, for example, if you're listening to an audiobook or something, time could easily just fly away. Which again could be a dangerous thing if you're doing it in an autopilot. So maybe try and avoid that. Yeah, I know the regular stream schedule is easy to do. You can do it just tell the time and the date. But I'm curious if you can just put in one or two streams here and there. So I could do them a week in advance, like I'm doing in Discord right now. So in Discord I have this schedule channel where I'll try to post it on like Sunday or latest at the Sunday to know what's the upcoming week schedule looking like. So I'm just curious if there's a way to do that easily in Twitch one as well, or if I just need to put it like it's consistent on the same dates. But I need to look into that. Yeah, that's what I was also thinking. Yeah, schedule it for every week, but change it every time. So yeah, that's I guess an option for it, because you don't need to like title them too hard there. So you can just put in like amateur stream and just have the dates in there. But it's just that if someone comes in and it's like, okay, I'm not gonna make them this week, but maybe next week. So because it does make it look like it's a consistent schedule. So it would be a bit misleading if you're in there trying to catch me like 2 weeks in advance. But yeah, I guess that's a minor issue in that sense. We're actually working through the pile quite nicely. So we might even get into cutting. We're just working against the clock, but there's no rush. You should never have rush when doing this, because that leads to accidents, and we don't want those. Because my mother already said that you shouldn't put your fingers in there, so we'll try to avoid that. Only because my mother said, not for any other reason. Otherwise my fingers would be already in the screw. No, just kidding. Safety first, guys. Yeah, I think the Discord is the best place for it, and also with like the announcements. But I'm also happy with the roles, so that you can have like the role that you get pinged about the schedules, and then there's like a different role for getting pinged about being live. Because I know, for example, I'm at some streams, like some streamers I watch almost as if I'm obsessed, and others when I get the chance. So in those cases I would prefer to be like notified about the schedule and then see like, okay, maybe I'll make that one and this one. But then I wouldn't need to be like notified of them going live if I already know which one I'll make. But then I guess for some other types of people, and for some other, I would like to be notified when they're live, so I can make it. Especially with like some people, they don't have a consistent schedule, or like they don't know in advance, so they just go live whenever. So for them it would only make sense to have this role for when they actually go live. So depends on the need again. But for me, I guess having both is a nice thing with the option. But yeah, on YouTube side there shouldn't be chat, because I have no way to look at it. So, and that's the idea, is to only use chat here on Twitch side. So if someone wants to watch it on YouTube, they of course can. Because I know that some people, because I remember I was watching Ludwig, mostly the videos though, but he did mention that when he was like streaming on YouTube, there were people when he switched back to Twitch that were like, we don't want to go back to Twitch, because they say that the player on YouTube side is better. And then of course if you're like paying for YouTube Premium or stuff, so you might get like some benefits. Like I don't know if there's like ads or stuff, but I know that there's like ads on Twitch side. So if you're paying for like YouTube one, you don't want to pay for the Twitch side as well. So in those cases it would make more sense to watch it on YouTube side. So you can pick and choose. At least for these, like the IRL streams. I don't know if I will be like multi-streaming those few times that we'll be gaming. So those might only be on Twitch side. We'll see. It's only about me setting it up on the main computer though, so on the main PC. So it's not like it would be impossible to do both there as well. I see there's a new follow, thank you very much. I'm trying to keep it lurker friendly, so I will not call you out. But welcome to this wood splitting madness. But yeah, this is just, you know, like an extra type of stream. I think we'll be streaming, because right now we've been mostly streaming IRL stuff on like Friday noon. But when we do actually get to building, you know, the construction work in the plot, you know, trying to build our home in there, we'll definitely do, you know, other days than, you know, just Fridays. Because if we were only making it on Fridays, it will never finish. so we definitely need to expand. So I can already say that there will be more Monday streams in the future. And I think the time is around here, so noon and maybe even earlier, since, you know, some people say that if you want to get things done, you need to start in the morning. So it could be that we need to start in the morning. So we'll see in the future. We are hoping to get an excavator on the plot like end of this month. So we need to do some preparations for that and some planning related to that. So this Friday we'll be on the plot again, and we'll do some measures for the excavator to do the digging then. So where will be the sewage pipes and where will the water pipes be and all that kind of stuff. So we need to have a rough estimate of where they end up. So we'll be on the plot on Friday. Right now I'm at my parents' place, so I'm just helping with the firewood. As they are both working. It's like a normal working day here in Finland, just that I have 2 weeks of holiday, so I'm free for this week and the next. If you'll always know on Fridays from now on. Oh dear. Twitch is harder to ad block. Okay, I see. Yeah, that's a thing I didn't know of. But yeah, that would make sense. So that's why like people would prefer YouTube side. But yeah, there could be like multitude of reasons. I know, for example, that at least some people are able to like stream with a better quality in YouTube side, like 4K and stuff. For me, it wouldn't make sense because the camera I'm using can only put in like this Osmo Action 4. What you're seeing this through right now is only able to do 180, so full HD on 30 frames. So getting it to like 4K would do nothing for my current streams, even on YouTube side. But I guess like in the future we could, when we get like a permanent electricity and permanent internet connections and stuff in the plot, we could have like an improved gear maybe. If we have the money for it. I would assume all the money goes to the building, so no promises about improved gear. What are you planning to play on Thursday? I think if we do, I'm actually hoping we do a stream on Thursday. I'm quite sure about it. I think we'll continue with the house flipper too, because we only did like cleaning there, so it would be nice to get some actual building in the house flipper too. So we'll see. But I'm assuming that I also bought the Landlord Super, which is like a British landlord My Summer Car kind of vibe. So we could play that at some point as well. But I think we'll continue with the house flipper for now, since we only like scratched the surface on it last time we streamed last Thursday. So definitely more of that. But you know, it was an expensive game, so I need to, you know, milk it out as long as I can. I was just kidding. It was a nice one. Especially I'm expecting a lot from the sandbox, because it would be nice to like build the house we are planning to actually build, to, you know, get that done in like a house flippers sandbox mode. See how you can walk inside the house and stuff like that. It would be interesting. It's still not split. Oh dear. Now it is. There we go. Okay, hopefully it won't snow every Friday from now on, because we have had some, let's say, unfortunate weathers. Well, the last Friday it had snowed the day before, so it didn't snow at all when we were there, because actually the snow was melting, but it was still quite a shock coming in there, seeing that there was like a solid 15 centimeters, like 10 centimeters of snow in the plot, where the previously had already melted once. So it was an interesting sight. There was also discussion of doing some chocolate egg tastings on Friday, so we might do that as well. So, although I don't know what chocolate egg should I be testing. I guess mostly Finnish ones, but we'll see when we go to a store, like what do we end up with. Because there was talk of like mammy chocolate eggs and stuff, which of course aren't a thing, but something similar maybe, if there are any of those. I wonder how much of the pile you can see, if you can see any progress on the stream. But yeah, about the gear being changed, I'm so far really happy with the gear I have right now, mostly because it has been of better quality than I had hoped. The image is quite a good quality, even with like light levels and stuff. Well, in pitch dark it didn't do anything, but that was anticipated. But also the reliability so far, it has like worked without any issues. So I'm knocking on the wood here because I have plenty to knock now. That it keeps on working like it has so far. Here you could see that I didn't like push with my hands, so when the firewood flew out, I just had my hand in the air. Because in those cases, if you're like pushing it, you could like push your hand in there. So that's a thing you're supposed to avoid. Because those are the parts where you can do some serious harm. Elina is volunteering for the mammy eating. That's good, because we do need volunteers for those. Although I can also eat a bit of mammy, but if it's like a whole chocolate eggs worth, I don't know if I'm up for it. But yeah, we need to go to a store to scout out some of those things to taste. You block it pretty well. What am I blocking? Oh, you mean the pile I'm doing, or the? Because I meant, do you see how like far gone we are already with these guys? Like the queue we have here. But I guess, oh yeah, the pile, yeah. Yeah, you can't see the end result. But actually, an interesting fact my father told me about, because I asked if he could like pile these already inside the the I don't know, it's shelter or whatever you call it. We saw earlier in the stream when I went to get some firewood, and he said that it's like old knowledge, I guess would be a word for it, that you should have them outside for at least one rain. Because apparently when it rains once on this firewood, it like takes out some like powdery stuff, maybe something. I don't know. It was tärkkelys was the Finnish word for it, but it's like not flour, but similar stuff. So it would release some stuff from within the wood, which apparently makes it like burn better than without it. So it would wash away some of it. So there's like this old wisdom that you should let them get wet once after you split them. So that's why we don't immediately pile them indoors. Yeah, the pile, so the one behind me, yeah, I see now. But here you can also see there's a major brand spot right there. So this one will be again probably a nightmare to split. We'll see. It's already proving to be somewhat of a nightmare. It's also somewhat heavy. Well, it wasn't actually that bad if they already separated. Yeah, starch I think is the word, yeah, Elina. Eguna went and translated it for me. So there's apparently some starch in the trees that you get rid of when it rains. So at least one rain's worth is needed for these trees, or at least it makes it better, I guess. so to have less of it. But whether there's science behind it, I wouldn't know, but that's apparently some old wisdom we pass down, you know, generations of, you know, wood cutting people. We've not used axe in a somewhat of a long time, so let's use it now a bit. There we go, I guess. Mayhaps, yep. But yeah, we could already go ahead and do some piling, but I guess I'll at least try and get through all of these. Because, you know, the piling stuff is not really my favorite. When we were younger, we were tasked to pile them in one of those shelters, and then one night after that there was like a enormous bang, like a huge sound, and the whole pile we had done just fell. And not only that, it fell to like another pile which went on to another pile, so I think it was like 3 or 4 of these like piles next to each other that they just, you know, fell on top of each other, so it was like a enormous pile mess. So, because there is like ways to do it proper and there's like ways to do it hasty, and when you're like a kid wanting to go to play on the computer, you don't really aiming for quality. So you're mainly aiming for fast results, so that proved to be fatal for that pile. There's also ways you can like support them from each other, so you can put like longer sticks in between them, so they sort of like lean on each other already without having to like fall on top of each other. So I don't think we had any like those support stuff in there, which would have probably saved the pile. But yeah, that's a story from the past of us getting yelled at for doing such a poor work with the piling. Okay, it's past noon already. I don't think we can do much cutting unless we start immediately. Let's see, maybe in like when it's half past 12, I guess, is that the word? So like 30 minutes to 1 p.m. I think we could start with the sewing, because my father did bring those trunks in there for that, so we should maybe get a move on with those as well. Because, you know, the reason they should not be there too long is because right now it's just, you know, giving a strain to the hydraulic system of the Avant machine. I don't think you can see it, but I will maybe tilt you guys a bit so that you can see what I'm talking about when we go there. So there's like trunks on the Avant work machine being like held up to easily saw them. But yeah, I think weather so far has been nice. There was like a forecast saying that there might be rain, and it does look like there might be rain at some point, but let's hope not for like another 50 minutes or so, because the gear we have is, let's say, not tested to be waterproof. I know the bag I have is somewhat like waterproof or water resistant at least, but still I would not want to be the one testing to see that okay, it's not. So we'll avoid testing the waterproofness for as long as we can. I was actually thinking already that maybe I should get a tripod shelter type of thing, because it would only need like something small on top of it to prevent the rain from getting on it. So there might be something that I could put like on top of the tripod you're on right now, so to prevent from any rain getting onto you. I missed most of the Mammy talks, I guess, but I, for one, I'm definitely going to get a good portion covered with the good old times vanilla sauce, the thick one. And as for birthday, I think I will be getting Mammy mokkapalat. Oh, I see. What's actually mokkapala in? Mokka, I think, is like coffee type of thing, so like coffee squares. No, that's not That's I don't think is a accurate description, but it's like a chocolatey a bit, I guess, coffee type. But yeah, there was Mammy talks of us going to the plot next Friday, so this Friday actually, to do some chocolate egg testing and maybe some Mammy as well. So there was actually, I think last stream there was some Mammy haters here, so it's nice to see some Mammy lovers here represented as well. Mammy mokkapala sounds good. I have to try some. Oh dear, now Elina will make some Mammy mokkapala. Maybe we'll have those on the plot then on Friday. So yeah, those for those not picking up or haven't picked it up yet, Egguna is Elina from, my girlfriend from previous streams. She's not here right now, so she's apparently there trolling on the chat. Hello. Let's see the time again, it's 15 minutes past noon. Google Translate for mokkapalat, pieces of swede. Oh, how do you pronounce that? I've never heard of that. If I would ask like what are pieces of swede, I would never know. Well, I maybe not even after this, because I don't think that's a thing that will stick to me, but that's an interesting translation. I wonder if there's anyone here of like native English or let's just say outside of Finland, if like pieces of swede make any sense to you. Because for me, I have to say, with my limited English vocabulary, I would never know what that would be. What's like meant with a piece of swede. Another follow, thank you very much. I keep it lurker friendly, so I won't call you out, but that's very much appreciated. Thank you very much. So yeah, we're currently just doing some firewood, and in the future we're hoping to do some house building. Not here, this is my parents' place, so we'll be a bit south from here, with hopefully less snow and less of a chilly wind. Because right now it's said that it should be like +5 degrees, but it's feeling like +1. I think here it might even feel like colder, because there is, you can see behind me, there's actual like snow on ice. So the wind is coming from that direction a bit, so I think it's like colder than +1 with, how ice is being. Ice is like frozen water, so below those degrees. Swede is maybe leather type or something. I would not use swede for wood. Yeah, yeah. I have to say I don't think I've ever heard of the word like used anywhere. So I don't think I would have even like connected it to leather had you not mentioned it. But yeah, definitely not for anything food related. So that's an interesting one. But yeah, mokkapala is basically, is it like just flour based? And then just like cocoa powder and a bit of coffee, and then there's usually like sprinkles on top, I guess, of some sort. Depends on, I guess, who makes them. Some make with sprinkles and some don't. But yeah, I guess that's like a sort of like a traditional Finnish dessert, because we had that question last week, like what are the Finnish desserts like. So I guess that's one. But again, I think most of Finnish desserts are for like when you have coffee, so with coffee. So I think that's a good example of sort of like a pastry what you eat with coffee. Because in Sweden you have this like fika, which is coffee, and they have buns and stuff, so I guess we have a similar culture here. Maybe we need to sell our plot, buy cabin in the woods and start streaming Finnish cottagecore. Yeah, minus alcohol. I think the whole, how would I say, the whole entertainment of it is in the alcohol. And you actually maybe saw I dropped the wood on my legs, but luckily I'm wearing work boots, so they have a steel cap. So even if I drop them on my legs, they wouldn't do anything to it. So yeah, I have my protective gear luckily on me, mostly boots being the protective ones. So the shoes or boots I have a like a steel cap. So, and also like they are, I think I mentioned in the plot some time ago that they also have like a thick enough sole or bottom, whatever, that you can step on nails on with them and they won't pierce the boots. So they should be safe enough for all sorts of construction work. Okay, I can't believe we just bought the plot, well, just meaning like 2 years ago, and Iguna is already selling it. Can't believe you've done this. Oh, it's a heavy one. Minus alcohol, but that's the whole point, hello? Maybe there we go. Okay, yeah. Yeah, I guess this is good one. Some of them are a bit larger, but you know that's like we are, you know. Some of us are large, you know. That's too wholesome for a Finnish stream. Can't go there. Do be like that out there. So yeah, we'll be doing like my Finnish cottage simulators type of activities in there, making moonshine. And I wonder actually what would be Twitch's TOS and stuff to making like moonshine. I would assume since it's, you know, illegal, it would not be allowed either. But we would need to do it somewhere where it's not illegal. So maybe, you know, make our own country and stuff. You know, that's easy. This you can see the tree has like, is it molded? It smells quite heavy as well. So that's not a good kind of wood. I don't know if they want to burn them, but I'll just throw them on the pile so whoever does the piling can decide. Because I already know we won't have time enough to go and pile these woods after we do some sawing too. But we can again say to my parents, yeah, I split everything on that pile and then I made some new ones. So nobody here snitch on me. Here again you could see that had I held onto the wood, my hands would have gone in there. But instead I just let the firewood fly. I think it flew here somewhere. There we have it. We will make kombucha, yeah. That's the traditional Finnish drink, yeah. You can make some kvass. What is that? I don't know. I don't think I know what that is. Let's do some sawing for a change. Now this could be like way more loud, like way louder than what we had heard so far. So bear that in mind when we're going for it. So here I have this iron here that's, you know, telling me about the length, and then I just hold on to the wood from the right side and I slowly lean forwards with it and it shows the blade there. So again, now I will give you a loud noise warning in 3, 2, 1. So if you can decrease the volume of the stream for a bit. So 3, 2, 1, and here we go. How loud was it? Because now we have this, and you can just drop it there on the. There's like a, what would you call it? Like a container there where you can drop it. Actually, I have I think my mother and father are like a lot faster with this because they can already eye it from here that okay, it's like the right length, and it's not like the tolerances I would assume is something like 2 centimeters or something like that, so plus or minus 2, so it's not that hard or not that like important. So how hard is it sounding like on stream? Because I know this is a lot louder than what the screw was. Not that bad, okay. So yeah, I think we're already like quite close to the limiter. So in that sense it probably doesn't make it that loud. So it, it stops the sound from going too bad. I think we can take it a bit shorter. Because that's the only instruction they gave me was when you saw this, that try to see the end length. So when you see how long the end of it is, try and make it so that you have you don't end up with like a short one at the end. So that's why I'm trying to make them a bit shorter now that the end of them will all be a little bit shorter. But we won't end up with like a really short one. But yeah, and I just remembered you can actually push them with the previous one, so I don't have to go like I have been doing so far with my hand every time. So let's try that. So now I can just push this one and it will yeet the previous one out. But you can already see that this is like so much faster than the splitting is. So like even if you had like more people doing this, or like more people doing all of this, so like 3-person like I mentioned would be like I think most people that you would have here still be able to work. I think there will still be like a queue piling up on the splitting side, because this is a lot faster, especially with how, actually I can show you guys, I'll have to quite a distance walk here to find you guys because you're behind everything, but I will rotate you guys a bit so you can see what I'm talking about with how my father brought in the lumber. So it's easy to pick, because I remember when we were younger, since we didn't have this Avant machine back then, it was like all muscle. So I will turn you guys a bit. So here you can see the, I'll rotate you guys also slightly. Actually maybe we can be here on this angle around here. So you can see the Avant machine is there, and it's just holding up this lumber. So it's easy to put them on the saw, like as opposed to having drag it and then lift it up, because I think the lifting part is the thing that breaks you, breaks your back if you don't do it with your legs. But even then it's like the hardest part. So now you can easily just take that in there. You don't have to lift it at all, you just like put it here and start pulling. So it's an easy job. Something we definitely didn't have when I was younger. So technology has advanced us, and also saves our bodies a bit. Like I mentioned, the lifting is the hard one. But yeah, I'm curious how hard can you hear that sawing sound? Because you did mention that it's not too bad. So I'm hoping you can still hear me talk while I'm doing it. But we did test it earlier with a circular saw, and it was weird, but you could hear my voice like through the sawing. So it was an interesting one. Let's see how much feedback I will get, whether or not these were done correctly. Okay, now we have a pile enough here, like a large enough pile that it's blocking them from going directly. So now I would need someone here to do the splitting. This one will be an awkward length. I think there's no way around it. unfortunately. I think we just never tell anyone. All the scenes happened here. So this one will throw there on the side and never tell anyone that it's a tad short. But now you can see with these here, I only have to lift them up a little bit and pull them up a little bit if I can, that is. This one's a bit heavier, so I guess I'll go from somewhere here to get it a bit closer. And now if I just lift it here, I can then again pull it forwards. But having to lift it all the way from the ground would take a lot from my back and legs. I guess I would need to have to learn to lift with my legs for that to happen. So that's an innovation my father has made to make this a bit easier. If that's around it. Oof. There's again not enough room here. There's like a box here that they will drop into, but these are large enough to get stuck there. The only instruction here you basically need, other than don't put your fingers inside the blade, is to go slowly with it, because if you ram it in there, the blade will get stuck and damage. So not go too hard on it. Yeah, save your back to destroy it while building a house. Exactly that. I can already see that happening. So anyone tuning in with the stream will definitely see me complaining about my back issues, because I've already snapped it a few times, like not really bad, but like maybe sprained it a bit. So I will definitely do that again during the streams. So for anyone looking for some back spraining action, look no further than this stream here. You can actually hear it from the sound it makes, whether or not you're going too fast or not. So it does give you sort of like a feedback. But I think this is quite a smart solution for, you just have to lean in a bit and the blade comes out. Compared to like if you had to pull out the saw or stuff. So this one, at least to me, is quite an easy one, or like logical one. So I don't know, I have not seen any like other types of machines like this, but I think this one is a smart way to do it. Because maybe the Timu machine, I think it was only for splitting though, I think that's what police said, brutality said. So I don't know if that had any of the saw in it, or any sawing action on it. Let's rotate it a bit. I think somewhere there. I guess it's okay. A bit, maybe because it's too much I overdid it, guys. Can't believe I've done this. What time is it? Okay, it's only 33. Because I was already looking at like, is it 53 already? Oh no. But yeah, we have a solid half an hour still. Only until Natalie C is coming online, because I don't want to miss that. So I'll just tell my parents, okay, sorry. That's all the wood I used, so that's all the wood I will do. No, just kidding. I think we'll be here in the evening at some point, I think. Although I know I have to change the tires on my van too, so. That's another thing we'll be doing. That thing rolled all the way to neighbor's side. No, just kidding. Almost. It's getting there. It escaped. Yeah, this is the sewing ASMR nobody ordered. I'm glad also that you're on that side, because there's some caution signs and stuff on this side, so it's better you don't see how dangerous this work is. But yeah, it's actually quite safe. The most dangerous one. Oh yeah, you have to leave. Oh yeah, I read that wrong first. But yeah, no worries, no worries. Take care. We'll see you next time. I think we'll see you live on Friday then, so. Take care, Eguna. But yeah, I was mentioning that the most dangerous one of these machines that I've seen was my late grandpa had a splitting machine where it was just like it was like an enormous, like a wheel, and I think it had 4 axe heads on it, and then it just spun around, and you would just wait with like a tree there, and it would like the axe head would just like every 4th circle you get like an axe head on it, and then you're just waiting for it to like smack on it. And I don't know who made that, like whose idea that was, but that thing was, let's just say, if this thing is scary, that was like terrifying, because just waiting for that thing to smack the wood and you're trying to hold the tree is like nightmare material. But yeah, I think he used that for quite some time. So apparently it was a working machine at least, if not maybe the safest one. But I don't think there was anyone having any. I don't think there was any accidents on it. Not that it made it any safer, not having any reported accidents. But yeah, I just remember that thing was terrifying. With the axe head coming and going. Yeah, that definitely was a hazard. How it looks. How with like strength it came in and smacked, and you're having to wait there, trying to get it try to get the wood in like a good spot. But I don't think that was made by any like a company. I think that was something they came up with themselves, like had some crazy dude in the village weld that thing together. So I don't think there was any like insurance and stuff on it. So if something had happened, I don't think there would be anything else than going to a hospital and hoping for the best. But luckily I don't think there was anything. I don't know how long they used it for, because I know that back in that time I think they were starting to invent these like actual machines too. So I think there was need to use it for that long. All I know is that these were initially quite expensive, these like saw and splitter combination machines, and of course being expensive depends on how much you'd use them. So if you use them like every year and you had a lot of wood you went through it would be easier to justify the cost. But like when my parents bought this, it just meant that from now on every wood we buy as a trunk, or like the whole wood, and not like pre-made firewood anymore. So for us children, it was, me and my brother, it was nightmare hearing that there will be a machine like this coming in, as it meant an absolute work camp every summer from there on. But yeah, now you've seen you've seen everything except for how you pile them. But as I previously explained on the story, that we made a pile that then collapsed. I'm not sure if I should be the one showing you how to pile these. I guess the most important thing to do when you're piling is that you like try to pat them down, like put some force on it, so that there's like less room for them to wiggle. So I guess that's the most important thing when you're doing these wood piles. But the ones you see behind us, or behind me, is those pallet things. I think they are quite sturdy because there's the planks around them. Makes it easier for them to keep intact. So I don't think we've ever had any of them falling over. But yeah, so far it's been a lonely work. And I guess that depends on if you have someone working. But I guess as you can quite easily see, that if you think of like what is the thing that takes the longest time, it is the splitting. So I'm not sure if there's a way to make that faster. So if you had like two people working on it, how would you need to do it so that both would be working like effectively, not having to wait for the other. Now there's a chance this will be a bit short. Once again it fell on my foot. Luckily I have these steel tipped protective boots on. Yeah, how many are still left? What is it looking like? Too many to count. Sad. There's some underneath them, so it's harder to count. There's still some. I was looking if there's like a enormous branch on it, but it's just there, not attached to anything. But there's still some quite like branches on these. I guess they don't matter, so it's all the same. But yeah, I guess this is like from these two work phases, this is a lot safer than the splitting, because here your arms and like all your limbs are so much like farther from the saw than you are when you're doing the splitting from the screw. So safety wise, I think anyone thinking this would be the preferable job of these two. Safest, I guess, would be the piling of the lumber, since there's no machinery involved in there. I guess when you're working with another person here, biggest hazard is when you're like throwing the wood and you know when you're pushing this, it drops in the basket. If someone is there trying to take one from there, you know, you can squash the fingers, which of course it doesn't, like it only makes a bruise or something, so it's not like that would be lethal or anything like it, but still I don't think the lethal damage here is the most common one. Because just I think yesterday my grandma was showing that her thumb had been like squashed somewhere. I don't know at what point or what she was doing, but she had that accident happen at some point. So that was a nasty looking one, because you know the whole thumb was quite black. So those kind of things I guess are somewhat common here. Depends of course how focused you are. You need to keep focused, guys. You need to keep focused for me so that I can sleep. No, wait. That's not what I meant. I swear. Okay, it's 15 minutes now, dear. So there's I guess around 20-minute warning now. Because I don't think we can raid her when she's, you know, just setting up. So I think we'll raid Nat when she gets her stream going. But yeah, around 20 minutes. If you guys are still awake, I'd hope you remain awake for that time. But yeah, I think there's something like 7 or 8 remaining. So not too bad. I think 7, unless I completely quick matched it wrong. Yeah, finger injuries are painful as AF. Yeah, 100%. Especially like if you consider like a wound somewhere where you're like moving the fingers, because anytime you move them, you keep opening up the wound. So those are the things I personally hate the most. But even bruises are like that when you use the fingers and use your arms. They keep reminding of themselves. So definitely we should avoid those. But I don't think you can have like, because you know there's like protective gloves and stuff, so like thicker gloves. But I think with these kind of works, if you have like too thick of gloves, there's also like a risk involved, especially with that splitting thing. Because if you have like enormous gloves and you don't know what you're touching and you're feeling, you could like easily get them sucked up in there. So I would say that those are maybe not ideal here. Although I don't know, like if you were to do this in a factory setting, if those will be like necessary, because I know you would like have ear protectors and like safety glasses and stuff, which I would also use if I were doing more of this. Well, I should use them right now too, but whoopsie daisy. But yeah, those protective gloves, I'm not sure if they would be beneficial here. I guess in like a factory setting, if they were doing these kind of works, the machine themselves would need to be the kind that stop when they have like, they censor a human presence inside the machines. So I guess that would be the safety thing. But yeah, we're basically doing these sawings that we have remaining. So I think 6 after this, and I am assuming around then it will be past 1 p.m. here, so we can go ahead and counter raid Nat, because you know Nat raided us. I think it wasn't our first stream, but I think it might have been like our 3rd one, because we were on the ice back then. And we were already thinking that it was like the last time that you can still be on the ice. But like I mentioned earlier on the stream, that there was already somebody, still there was somebody on the ice yesterday with a snowmobile. So probably apparently the ice is still strong enough to, hold a person and a bit more, since, the snowmobile is a heavier one. But yeah, I don't know for how long will they still be able to do that. So I'm assuming with, it's still like at the moment it's on the plus side, so the snow should be melting and the ice should be melting. So I doubt there will be snowmobile people there for much longer. But I guess depends on the level of insanity of those people, so you never know. There's this like I don't know if it's a joke or what you would call it, but like this common thing in Finland about these ice fisher people, that when there's like a centimeter of ice, it will hold a person going for ice fishing, because they are in the weakest ice. They are already there, so always already there, so they are the craziest Finns when it comes to going on the weak ice. And I think there are still like every year some of them drown, so it's not like a light topic in that sense. But yeah, it's their own stupidity that gets there. Just yesterday I said I'm not brave enough to walk on it anymore. Yeah, I wouldn't definitely not go there anymore myself. Like already, I think it's like 2 or 3 weeks ago that we were there. Already then I was contemplating whether or not we go there. Because even then I looked online how strong is the ice. And it's like, yeah, it was plenty strong enough, but since then it's been like plus degrees, I guess, almost every day, if not every day. But I guess some of the locals, I guess, are braver than we are. Whether or not that's the smart kind of brave or not, well, we'll see from the results. On the news headers, I guess. But yeah, it takes quite a long before, during the winter time, before you can go on it, and I guess it takes quite a long time here during the springtime that you can still go on it, so it gets quite thick, the ice. So there's the season, I think, extends more towards the spring than it does on the winter, like this fall side. To be fair, I never did much walking on the ice anyway. Yeah, I've not been there that much. Like when I was a kid, we went there every now and then, but not even every week. Because I know there's people doing skiing and stuff, and they do it when the season is on, they do it every day. But we went much for winter sports. So not really for skating or skiing. Because I know some people were doing skating areas on the ice and stuff, but I don't think maybe once we had it, but I don't think we had that many times. So we weren't really doing any of those winter sports stuff. So how many left? 4 after this. Guys, we might be able to make it. There is hope. There's always hope. So the last stream we had, we were burning trash and shrubs and stuff. Well, not trash, but wood and stuff on the plot. And it was chill vibes at the end of the stream, because when I realized that I could sit down, that's when the chill vibes came in. I don't think we have any chill vibes on this stream, because we are lucky to get through these trunks before the end of it. So no chill vibes for you today. chill vibes cancelled. But yeah, it's actually quite struggle to get these the right length, because you're always thinking like, okay, how much is it like too long, and should I make it shorter so that there's like one at the end of it, or should I just make every one of them longer so it just like eats it out. Or but right now I'm also thinking that if I wanted to be accurate, it would be here, but then the last one would be 7 centimeters short or something like that. So I guess we'll just make them a bit longer. We might end up with one very short one. I guess we'll just YOLO. Because one thing I know that my parents, they don't think too hard on these. Because eventually, they will burn. So they're not going for like an exhibition anywhere. So it's not about the beauty. But it's mostly about like not having them like way too long so that they still fit inside the fireplace. Because if it's like way too long, then it's hard to put them there. Okay, these guys are a bit long. Let's not tell anyone. Let's not tell anyone, guys. This one's a long boy. It's tall like me, hello? I made it from my own image, although it wasn't thick enough. There's still, I think, 3 after this. 3, hello? But yeah, the content here is mostly the sawing ASMR right now. Well, it has been pretty much the whole stream. But yeah, for further content, I guess it will be construction related. I'm hoping at least. There are still some things that we need to wait. For example, this week actually on Thursday we should be getting the official heads up, or I would say the license to build will be legal. So if nothing goes wrong before Thursday, we should be golden on the construction. Mainly things that can go wrong would be somebody complains about it. I guess that's the only thing. So again, knocking on these woods here that nobody does have anything against us building our house. Although I have tried to ask around like what are the things that people could complain about the house construction on, and I've not yet gotten any examples of like reasons what could people have against it. But I guess some people have imagination, so maybe someone has some crazy things, but hopefully not. Oh yeah, I just remembered, did you ever figure out the sign thing? Oh yeah, now I just remember what you mean. Yeah, so far they haven't said anything about it. Like, I'm not sure, because we'll have the starting meeting will be on Tuesday after Easter. And I think they will tell me there if we need a sign for it. Because in Finland I know that in some like construction works you have to have a sign of like who's building and what. And so far no one has, like, I only read about it online, but so far no one has like asked me about it or told me anything about it. So I'm just basically waiting to see if they mention that. Because I don't know if that's like needed still from like when it's not a company building, but it's like a private citizen, I guess is the word. So I don't know if that's still like if that's a requirement. If it is, I will ask you about it. But we did discuss that your father could maybe help with it. But yeah, I guess we'll need to do a blowing my nose break here because it's again windy and chill outside. So I'll mute you guys hopefully for a second. Yeah, now it should be back. But yeah, that's exactly my point. That if it's not like enforced or if it's not mandatory to have a sign like that, because like for doxing reasons, I would prefer not to have a sign on the plot saying that this is my name and this is the address. Because if we are to be streaming from the plot, the less of like our details there is, the better. So that's why I'm hoping that we don't need to set up a sign like that. But even if we do, I think it will be on the like the roadside, so not so much visible from the stream. But yeah, I think I asked you if you could ask your father about it. Did you remember the pricing and stuff? If it's like possible at all and stuff, you could get back to me on that. I tried to cut and actually managed to cut the branch out of it because we don't want that. We don't want that. Oh yeah, no worries. Yeah, like I mentioned, we so far haven't heard of it. And I think even if we had like heard from it, I think I would have like messaged you to know like, did you ever get to it? But I think we'll hear about it like I mentioned, the Tuesday after Easter. So what is it, like 22nd or something like that? Yeah, I guess 22nd is the day we'll be having like it's called, I think, startup meeting. So it's part of the bureaucracy involved in building in Finland. So you have to have a starting meeting where the people from the cities, like the building council and those, come in there and give me some. Either they are like, yeah, this looks to be okay and everything seems to be in order, or then they just give me some feedback. I've never been to those, so I don't really know what to expect. The only instructions I got was that you don't need to bring anything with you, just as long as you're there. So I'm hoping it will be mostly like how would I say it, like a done deal in that sense, that there will be nothing dramatic in there. Stuff like that. Okay, you need to put up fences and you need to have a sign here and sign there and those kind of things. So I'm hoping the bureaucracy will be light. Knowing Finland's level of bureaucracy, I'm not so sure we'll have it light, but that's what I'm hoping. Hoping that there won't be too much trouble from their side. Because the plans we have should be solid. Like we have a professional down there, like the water and heating and those kind of plans. And then we have a professional that's done like the electrical plans and stuff. So I'm assuming it should be golden in those kind of things. But I guess like the sign thing is one thing that I'm also curious about, whether that's needed. And if it is needed, what kind of instructions do they have for it? Because like having a sign is one thing, having it like large enough with certain kinds of information is another thing. So I hope they have instructions on it if they want it. But yeah, we're talking about because in Finland some construction places they have like this major, like huge sign in there that says that who is the one building, who is the one ordering, so who is the one paying basically, and what's the permit number. I think that's the most important information, because under the permit number you can search the stuff from the city. So they're like digital, so you can find the information from that number. So those kind of things would be shown on the sign. So I'm still curious whether or not we need a sign like that in there. because so far I haven't heard about it. I only read about it a bit. But you know, it's different from city to city, so that's why I'm still waiting on confirmation on whether we need it or not. But it's again another like an expense that I would gladly skip if at all possible, because I think there will be enough expenses going for the when doing construction, so wherever you can save from like bureaucracy, it's always better to, because you know, for the sign I don't think it really benefits anyone that much, because it's the neighbors have been told about it, they have agreed on it, and mainly no one else would be giving a second thought about what we're doing there, since it mostly, you know, involves neighbors. Because in Finland, like, neighbors have a right to complain about it, so they need to be asked whether they're okay with the construction or not. Mainly I think the thing is that, like, if you make a plan for a building and it has like an extremely high roof or something, I know there's been like talks of like neighbors complaining about it, that it's blocking their sun, which I guess is I would say that it makes sense, because you know, if you have a yard that's to a certain direction and the neighbor happens to be on that direction, they make like an extremely tall building, it does block the sun, like it does. So I do see that as a reasonable thing to complain about. But for us, the plot is luckily large enough that there's really not that much of an issue with that. And also, like I mentioned, the neighbors have already been informed and they have already agreed on it, so like they have given their blessing in a sense. So there's definitely not any of the close neighbors doing any complaining, since we have their signatures on the papers already. So I don't know who would be the ones that could complain, if anyone would. Lunchtime ASMR I was looking for, very nice. Yeah, this is exactly it. Some, like, I will give you a little bit of sawing ASMR. There we go. That's what you get for lunching at a reasonable hour. That's actually quite a late lunch, I would say. It's 1 p.m. after all, so. Because I remember at my office we had some people come from abroad, and they were always saying the Finns always go for lunch so early. Because I think mainly everyone goes like before noon, so at like 11, is it a.m. then? 11 a.m. I guess, maybe. So before midday. I think that's the most common time for lunch in Finland. Because that's like when the lunch places have the longest queues at. Yeah, exactly. I know you know. But yeah, I know Mohis from IRL, so in real life. So maybe we at some point even see him on the plot helping with the construction, we'll see. He has said that with the salary of beer he could come in and help, so when we will get some beer for him. Because you know, I will be the one in charge of safety, so for me it will be like, do we risk it? Do we risk it having people in there working for beer salary? Because it will be my head on the block if something does happen. So I need to think this through. But yeah, this is the last tree, I think. I'm not seeing any more of them. But unfortunately this now looks like I made it worse, because when we started there was a pile of this wood that needed to be split, and now there's again a pile of wood that needs to be split, so it looks like I did absolutely nothing in these 2 hours. In these 2 hours that I've been now streaming and working on this pile of wood. So guys, can you come in and finish the work? Or I need to go. I need to go raid and run now, just kidding. Although we will be raiding soon. So stick with me and get some Australian vibes to balance this grim Finnish atmosphere, or what would you call it? Weather. Because you know, it is depressing. The weather is actually depressing if you really think about it. So you know, we get voted for the happiest nation every year, but you can see for yourself if that's accurate or not. So there you have the pile of lumber we made, or pile of firewood we made. And this pile here, when we started, I'm talking about this pile of unsplit wood. I think it was around this height when we started. And now we just made it this height again, so it's looking like we did absolutely nothing. We'll split one wood for Mohis to see how it's done. So there's like a, I think Mohis knows, but still. So you just have like a screw head here that spins, and then you just push these logs on it, and you get these logs split by that. And then you try to rip them apart. Sometimes it's easy, sometimes it's not. If you need it, you need to put it through the screw again. At some of these are, especially the ones with like lots of branches, they are the absolute pain to do. And then larger ones are typically harder because they don't go so easy and so neatly into like 2 and 3 or like in 4 parts. As you can see, this one is splitting all the way everywhere, so it's not really cooperating as well as I was hoping. Some actually do come loose. But yeah, this is the Finnish cottage simulator IRL. So splitting firewood. Although I think in most places, if you're in like a cottage, you would do it by axe, because you hardly use that much firewood that you need to have like a, yeah, Mohis just said I'm more of an axe and a chopping block kind of guy. The long range, that would most likely not be, yeah, exactly what I was already, we were on the same level there. We had the same brain there for a moment, because if you're doing it for a cottage, like a cabin or something, you rarely need that much of it. But if you're using it for like secondary or primary heating source, the amount you need would take a like eternity with an axe and a chopping block, because it's a lot slower than this is. Well, it depends on, of course, on the guy doing it, but I would still argue that the fast dude with this kind of machine is always faster than a fast dude on a axe and a chopping block. But I could be wrong. I've been wrong before, so it's not unheard of. But then there's like also a huge sack of just like the bark. So when they rip out easily, I think my parents just put them in this sack here, because they can be used to light up the fires. So they collect them to a separate place for it. But I'm assuming Nat has started, because I was hoping to raid Nat, because, you know, like I mentioned, it was like our 3rd stream or something that Nat raided us, so we definitely need to return the favor. If that is a favor, you know, getting raided by a Finnish person. Maybe it is, you never know. But yeah, let's see how the raiding works again. Yes, I can stand here, you can look at me and I can look at you. Let's just have a moment of silence. Now that the machine is off, we can actually have a moment of silence, because, you know, earlier it might have not been as silent of a moment. But yeah, I think I should be able to raid it. Let's see if I can find the spot that is. Spot from here, because we are already on overtime. Since I was thinking of ending around 1, so it's already past 1. So let's do a raid. Raid for Nat. So what you need to know about Nat is absolutely wholesome, lovely Australian streamer. Has been here on many occasions. Is extremely interested about Finland. So actually we could have had a raid message. I think we might still have a time for a raid message. What would we use? Or do we do? Because I know Nat doesn't really do raid messages. I don't think she ever has. We usually, as a chat, troll her with those raid messages. So we have like, let's not even go there yet. Let's not go there, guys. So let's just not have a raid message. We can just, you know, say hello from Finland or something like that. Even maybe in Finnish, because, you know, Nat is trying to learn Finnish. So the worse sentences you have, the better. Something like vesi hiisi or something you could go for. That could be a raid message. You know, make her pronounce it. Because I will join you guys on the raid. I will be packing up and then I will come with you there. So I might be a bit late, but I think I will go watch Nat immediately so that I can say hello and then just have a small lurk before I come in and join. Because these wood piles are not going anywhere, so I might as well have a a stream break. Like I mentioned, my parents are still working because today is just like a normal working day and I'm just on the holiday, so I think we'll come later during the evening to do more of this because there's still plenty to do. But yeah, thank you guys for